I'm ready.
Alright. Hey guys, I'm here at Living Proof Recovery and I'm with Brittany Galvanoskis.
Yes,
Okay.
you did it.
And what is your job title here?
I'm the executive director at Living Proof Recovery.
Okay. We're going to find out exactly what they do and how important they are in the community. So, I got some questions here. I'll get started asking. So, can you briefly tell us what Living Proof Recovery does in the community?
I will try to keep it brief.
Okay.
So we offer a multiple pathway approach to recovery. So we believe that everybody gets well differently. It's not a one size fits all. So we try to offer as many different activities or recovery supports as we can to help someone get and stay well. We offer a variety of other services. Our reentry services look like helping people obtain their identification documents from birth certificate, social security card, their actual photo, state issued ID. That's important. You need those things to get a job. And a lot of times the prisons are supposed to release you with a birth certificate and a social security card, but that's not consistent or even semi-consistent in our experience. It's connecting people to other resources. If people call and they're looking for rehabs, if they're looking for, maybe they're not from this area, but they're looking for support in their area. If they're looking for detox or mental health supports or whatever that looks like, well, it's a linkage to resources. We have a post-overdose response team. So what that is a partnership with the Department of Public Health. They send us OD maps where suspected overdoses have happened in our community, and our report team will just go out and knock on doors in these areas, connect people to resources, Narcan, other harm reduction resources, recovery resources, whatever the individual is looking for. We have a women's recovery residence next door at Living Proof Recovery. We're looking to start another one of those. We have a supportive volunteer committee. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Elevation House dissolved recently, and we've taken that program under our umbrella just so people, that are duly diagnosed can get some additional support, but as a preventative measure as well. Mental health is a big reason in why people start self-medicating, and so we want to avoid someone developing a substance use disorder if at all possible. We go to court with people. We work alongside DFACs to help families reunify. Anything somebody may need to support them on their journey. That's what we try to do.
Okay, now this may be jumping ahead, but you get people that are released from prison for drug charges, but you also accept people who have just reached rock bottom and they know they need help.
Yeah, absolutely. So it can be, like you said, someone just the other day was released from the jail. They walked here. He was from Alabama. He was not in a good space, like medically. He needed to get back to his town. He reached out to several other places. They were unable to help, and so we drove him to a bus station like an hour and a half from here so that he could get back to where he needed to go to resume his cancer treatments.
Okay.
It can look like, detox centers, people coming here from detox centers. It can look like people just walking down the street, and doesn't necessarily have to be rock bottom, because a lot of times that term can mean they're not with us anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
But when they're at a low point in their life, when they're at a high point in their life, everyone that works here, we're all people in long-term recovery from substance use disorder or other mental health challenges. So,
Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
So I am a person in long-term recovery, and what that means for me is the last time that I experienced chaotic use was March 20th, 2018. So my recovery date is the 21st. So it's been about 6.5 years now since I've been living in long-term recovery. And I would just like to say, like, my recovery journey started like a decade before I really got it. I kept trying and trying and trying, but I just couldn't find what worked for me. And the problem in my life, or rather the problem, let me think of a better way to say that. I was not able to get it because people were trying to tell me how to get it. And until I found other people that were like, what's going to work for you? I went to a recovery residence in Atlanta and was ran by people in recovery. And I just surrounded myself with those people, and it worked out. Now, I've been to jail more times than I can count. I've been to prison. I lost custody of my oldest daughter twice. I have regained custody of her. I have another child. I'm married. And I just get to advocate for this community of wonderful people. I have found that people in recovery are some of the hardest working people that I have ever worked with. And I don't know what it is for me. I feel like, at least in the beginning, it's like, I have something to prove, I have something to prove, I have something to prove, I have something to prove. But it's also a passion. Like, I know that people can get better. And I know that all people deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of where they are on their journey. So even if it's just offering someone kindness and operating out of a place of love for humanity, it can really make all the difference in the world.
Okay. And can you tell how Living Proof Recovery got started and how special this specific organization is to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So Claudia Hamilton is our founder. She is absolutely fabulous. She wanted to help people get well, and so she created Living Proof Recovery alongside, or with the support of Georgia Council for Recovery. And this organization started as one weekly support group at a local church, and then they got the building, and it's really just kind of grown and evolved since then. It's so special to me because it was a safe place for me. We moved to Rome in 2019, and I went from working overtime every week to being a stay-at-home mom, and Living Proof Recovery provided childcare almost every evening while I was able to kind of connect and create relationships within the recovery community. And so it was my safe space when I moved here. That's why it's so important to me. It's because it helps me. And I have seen it. And then on top of the fact that I have seen it, like, one of my favorite parts of my job is getting to watch people get better. Watch the light come back on in their eyes, watch them work so hard. Even for the simplest of things, we've got one peer that we're working with right now. He was born somewhere in the western United States, and we have been, and another peer specialist at a different organization have been trying to help him get his ID for over a month now. but getting to watch people meet goals from, securing a birth certificate to getting a job, to going to a different job, to getting their own place, to getting custody of their children back, to just watching them laugh when they came in, just and this doesn't apply to all, but sometimes in a really dark place, just watching them flourish is really special.
I've encountered several people here this morning, and they all just have this glow about them that they are very friendly and very happy. For a Tuesday morning after a holiday, they are in very good spirits here.
Yeah.
But you are taking your experience and you're giving that back to people, and you're making those connections. So
yeah,
I think that's very important. One quick thing you mentioned several times about the IDs, and that is such a crucial thing.
It's so challenging sometimes.
We went to a Rome International Film Festival program, I guess back the first of the year. And they showed videos of people sharing what it's like when they first get out of prison, and one of the biggest struggles was not having an ID or anything. And people go to jail and they lose everything that they have, and it's such a struggle. And so the IDs are a very, very big and important part of starting a road to recovery.
Absolutely. You have to have identification to become employed. You have to have identification to get housing, to get, utilities, to get really even some food pantries require some form of like proof of residency, stuff like that. So it is, it's extremely challenging, and I'm grateful that we're here to walk with people, because just imagine not being able to really make any kind of footing because you don't have identification. You can't go anywhere. You can't you can come here, you can, just kind of trudge along, but the real steps to meeting because it's self-directed goals, that's another thing that's important. These are their goals, and we're just here to support them in whatever that goal may be. It all starts with an ID. And if when they live in state, it's a little easier. Well, no, it's significantly easier if they live in state, if they were born in the state of Georgia. But if they were born out of state, it can be really tough and a really long process. And without the right supports, it could not be the best situation.
Yeah. So that's monumental for them.
And the cost. The cost associated. I think the birth certificate is $20, $25, and then the ID is at least $25 or $35. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's a lot of money for somebody that was either released from incarceration, or people experience chaotic use out here, and they also lose everything, and they're wanting to get their footing before they become incarcerated or before something worse happens, and they become a statistic of an overdose or another drug-related death. And it all starts with an ID either way.
Yeah. So that's a huge step, and I just wanted to point that out because she had mentioned that a couple of times. Okay, so you've covered this, but tell us what Living Proof Recovery's area of expertise is, and what makes it stand out from other programs.
That we are all people living in recovery from substance use disorder. So we can identify and relate to the challenges that we face. We can offer our lived experience. It's like, hey, I remember a time that something similar happened. Would you like to know what I did, to overcome that situation? And just knowing that we have been in similar shoes can be a relief, but also like, oh, they get it.
Yeah.
They get it.
Yeah. So knowing somebody really understands where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got a ton of line on your face. Do you want to move again now? I can close the blinds.
You want to try that?
Yeah. I know you can edit it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. It's like the sun all of a sudden got brighter.
Yeah. This one or the other one? Not that I know. It's the other one. We're just gonna that one a little bit too. Which one is it? Is it this one?
Would it help? Yeah, to do them the opposite way.
No, I think it.
Oh yeah, there it goes.
Woo! Okay. You can see your whole face.
Okay, so all right, something we don't know but should totally be aware of. That's the next question. Well, did we finish that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, so tell us something we don't know about the people you serve, and what's something that we should totally be aware of.
Well, I think that we are people living in recovery is extremely important. That we offer a variety of services. If an individual comes in here and it's not something that we're already doing, and they say, hey, this is a barrier to me achieving long-term recovery, okay, we'll support that. And if at all possible, we will support that. Hey, this is a barrier. Wait, did I already say barrier? Mm-hmm. This is a barrier I'm facing. We will do everything we can to help them overcome that barrier. If, hey, I see y'all are not offering this support group. Okay, well, would you like to help us create it? We want to bring people in, and it's really about creating a community. That's what we are here. We did our overdose awareness walk on Friday evening. International Overdose Awareness Day is on August 31st every year. That was on Saturday. We observed it on Friday, and just being surrounded, there were about 50-ish people that participated in that walk. And one of my favorite moments was there were I saw it happen a couple different times, a couple different people joined in the walk, and they just started asking questions. And we got back to our starting location, one individual came up and was like, they were asking questions, how can they help? They're involved with this ministry, they wanted to give back to the community. And what he said was, I never realized that this is a community of people.
Oh yeah. He
said, I saw just the camaraderie. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize what that was. We're just a community trying to get better and help each other while we do that.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and the different stages of recovery. So, as you see, my t-shirt says, can save lives. You can save lives. And so, we help people from the very beginning of their journey while they're still experiencing use or chaotic use or whatever it may be, offering Narcan, other harm reduction resources. We don't try to push anything on them because that a lot of times runs people off. We meet them where they are.
Yeah.
In that moment, you know, at some point someone comes in and they need a detox center, we'll connect them with detox. If they're looking for a rehab, we'll do that. If they're in long-term recovery and they just are looking for a support system, you know, we'll be that. If they need help with, like I said, court or defects, you know, to help with their children or whatever, it doesn't matter. You can have, you know, decades in recovery, or you can still be experiencing use, and we're not going to treat you any differently.
Okay. All right. And coming from a family that's really close knit, you don't realize how many people don't have that close family,
Yeah.
and they need the community of people to understand what they're going through and to support them. So that's really important.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us. Oh, okay. So how do you kind of talked about this already, but how do you select those who participate in living proof recoveries?
We don't.
You don't?
They
come to
choose
you?
us.
Okay. So there's no requirements, and there's nothing they have to meet to be with y'all.
No. Just, you know, our mission is to support the long-term recovery needs of the community. So the person that walks in any stage of substance use disorder, and if it's not our, you know, area of expertise, we will do our best to connect them with other resources. We do have the supportive volunteer service now, so, you know, if they're living with other mental health challenges and they need something like, if they need skill development in order to, you know, help them on their goal of becoming employed, you know, this is a great spot to do that as well. But, you know, outside of that, we always treat people with kindness and respect. But if they're looking for another type of organization that maybe we don't have resources or whatever the case may be, we will, you know, link them to those resources.
Okay. So let's talk about the mindset of the community and overcoming challenges. Y'all do amazing things. And what has been the biggest struggle, I think mainly of the community's mindset around substance abuse?
I think it's the stigma that comes along with substance use disorder. I think that it's important for people to remember to treat all people with kindness and respect, and to, if you don't have anything nice to say, maybe try not to say anything at all, because words hurt, especially when a lot of times you're already in not the best place. And our peers will come in and say things like, we had a peer actually the other day that went, she was so excited to go to this job interview, and, you know, she felt like things were going well, and then further along in the interview, she shared a little bit about the place that she was in, and because of the things that she had overcome. And now I remember, it had to do with a gap in employment history.
Yeah.
And so she then felt it was important to be honest, and she shared, you know, a little bit about her recovery journey. And she said the look on the lady's face and just her whole body language and demeanor, well, I don't know how upper management is going to feel about that, you know, and just really, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so she went from being super excited to feeling completely defeated. So I don't even know what the question was anymore.
What was it? Mindset,
Just,
challenges.
you know, treat people with kindness and respect. And like I said, we are some of the hardest working people that I have worked with. Because I had various jobs prior to my addiction really taking everything from me. and we work hard, and we're willing. I am willing, and I know that the people that I work with, we just do what needs to be done. Go above it. They go above and beyond. I don't know. Just we work hard, and kindness and respect. That's important.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, what has been one of your most significant, like, aha moments or epiphany? Epiphany, is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
Being here or throughout your journey.
So throughout my journey, there's one that comes to mind at the beginning of my recovery journey. I went to I went to a recovery residence in Atlanta, and they did not search our things well. We went out to this event. I already felt funny because of the location we were in. I look up and I realized I'm right down the street from where I used to use, and I'm right down the street from another location with a similar background. And so my heart started racing. I'm like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Like, I don't want to be here. And so I called the rehab, and I'm like, please get me out of here. Please, I don't want to be here. Please come get me. I'm afraid I'm in tears. And then I opened my wallet, and there were some opioid type medications in the wallet, and I almost lost it, like, because I was just so, I felt in a way like compelled to do it, but not to do it at the same time. It was a real struggle. And so I held on to that for the rest of the day, what I found. And I was listening to music. So music is a pathway for me. It just like calms me down and things like that. But never forget it. There's this song. It's called Drug Addiction. It's by Kalichi. It can be, if you're in recovery or seeking recovery, it can be activating or triggering in a way at the beginning of the song. But then at the end of the song, he brings it in. He's like, I talked about before, let me talk about right now. And so he goes on to say how much better things are. And I was like, and I ran straight to the toilet, and I flushed it down the toilet. And that was like, oh, I might actually be able to do this time. And then as far as here, aha moments. Is just at the beginning when I first got the executive director position, it was a really hard adjustment for me. There was a lot of responsibility. I felt a lot of pressure, even if it was internal. Some of it was not. Just because this is a big deal. Like, I didn't want to mess anything up. And so I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then one day I'm like, oh, this is easier. This is not as hard. And so I think just recognizing hard times and knowing that I can keep pushing. And then there's aha moments with our peers all the time. Watching one of them got their driver's license for the first time in a decade the other day. When they get to see their kids for the first time after years and years, and it's like, oh, this is why on them, because it can still be challenging working in this field, to see people like try really hard, and then they disconnect, and then to hear they return to use. That's really, it's like, it hurts,
Yeah.
But then you get to see like the excitement on their faces when like, I got my driver's license for the first time in 10 years, or, well, it was a learner's, but now it's a driver's license. She got a driver's license the other day. Or, you know, people getting out of prison. I was working with a peer last year. He was already in a place where I think he had a warrant at the time already, and I was trying to help him, like, get into rehab, because I could, he wanted to stop using. He was just in a toxic living environment, and so it felt impossible for him. And so I was trying to work with probation. Well, eventually, I think he turned himself in, if I remember correctly. He went to prison. He served a year, and he got back out, and he texted me the other day, and he's like, thank you so much for helping me. You'll never know what that meant to me. And I was like, okay, well, I know you love to play music, so come on up here. We got this group, and he has. And just seeing, like, even after all that, people, I don't know, I just love my job, and I love watching people, just even when it's tough, keep going, trying, and then eventually it clicks. So,
Okay.
Um,
All right, so I want to let y'all know what it's like. I don't want to let you know. Okay.
I'll let you know.
I just messed that up completely, didn't I? Okay, I want to give our viewers some idea of what it takes to run Living Proof Recovery. So, what does your team look like?
So there are 6 of us now, thankfully. We are, I have applied for some additional funding because the need grows every day more. You know, word of mouth things spread. We've been here for 8 years now. And so it's getting further and further into the community that we're here, and this is what we do. And you can go there and they will do everything they can to support you. So we need more. We need specialized peer specialists. We need peer specialists to go into the hospitals and connect to people, to our peers that are in the hospital. And transportation is a huge barrier, especially if you're in the county. And so just having additional peer specialists is important. Our team right now is 6. They are all fabulous. We have a really, really good group of team members right now. And we all go all day, every day. So, additional funding, I hope we get.
Okay, and that's 6 team members for here and the house next door?
Yes.
Okay.
So Allison's she is the director of housing. So her primary focus is overseeing the next door program. She helps with living proof stuff too, but her primary focus over there, and there are 12 women over there currently. So she also, just like the rest of us, goes,
Okay. Is that like the limit 12 or?
That's
okay.
Yeah, we got 12 beds.
Okay. All right. So a need for more room.
Need for room.
All right. What's one thing that keeps you going and encouraged?
Like I was talking about, when peers keep trying and then they set these goals, and it might look small to somebody who's not walked this path, but when they meet those goals and how excited they get, just seeing the light come back on in their eyes. So for me, there's like a dimming spiritually, and seeing them laugh when you haven't seen them laugh before, and like really laugh, and just watching people get it together, and then watching, outside businesses or other entities embrace recovery from recovery friendly environments. And so like having the community come together is really great to see, whether they support somebody who may have felonies on their record, being able to have housing through their company, or jobs. They might not have been open to working with people in recovery before, but then they're like, okay. Or outside, because our court system is pretty great with working overall with people that are seeking recovery. But outside counties, for people that live in our county, we're working with other counties to try and push for recovery, and them like, oh, okay, they'll do that. Seeing the work pay off in those areas.
Is this a ministry? Is it connected to religion or just?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. So a nonprofit like this takes money and donations to run. How do you raise the funds to support Living Proof Recovery?
Okay, so for the Next Door program, they have a car wash and a rummage sale once a year, and I think there's one other one. Living Proof Recovery as a whole, we have a casino night fundraiser, and so people will purchase tickets, they come to the event, they'll get funny money, it'll turn into chips. They'll play the games. At the end of the night, their chips will be converted into raffle tickets, and they can then win really great raffle prizes. It was a really fun event last year. So we're doing it again this year on November the 8th, I believe is when it is, at Taylor Farm. We have tickets for purchase on Give Butter. And then Taste of Rome will continue for our supportive volunteer committee as well. So fundraising.
Okay. All right. And if someone wanted to give or just donate, you have a link on your website?
We do.
Okay, and I'll put a link to the website with this. Okay, if you could go back to a specific time in your life and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
It will get easier. It'll get challenging. Life's tough at times, but just keep going, because it does get easier.
Okay. All right, and these are just some quick questions you can answer. What do you and I'll start from
So sorry, parched.
what do you enjoy most about working here at Living Proof Recovery?
I love my job. I love all of it, but aside from watching peers meet their goals and the excitement and the laughter and the light and all that we already talked about, just watching them learn to have fun and finding what fun means now. That's what kept me really out there for so long, is I was like, that does not seem like fun.
Yeah.
That seems really boring. And to be honest with you, like after about 15 months in recovery, I'm like, this is boring. Like, I was going to work, I was working 60 hours a week, I was going home, I was catching a meeting here or there. I was like, this cannot be all that it is. It can't. And so when we moved to Rome, we connected with other people in recovery and started doing things like hiking and art, and we have a recovery prom every year. That's on September 27th at Mosaic Place, and just finding those moments to just be silly, let loose, have fun, laugh, cut up, just have a good time, because life doesn't have to be so serious all the time.
All right. And the most challenging part of working at Living Proof Recovery?
It's watching. It's the best thing, and then most challenging is the stigma in the community that still very much exists, not just in Rome or Floyd County, but in the state and on a national level at times. It's getting better. We still got a long way to go. And then, when people are really trying. They're really, really, really trying, and then they disappear for a little while. And the most challenging is when, well, one of the most challenging is when somebody you're working with, you don't see them for a while, and then you find out that they have experienced an overdose and they're no longer with us. That almost broke me a few times.
Yeah, oh, that'd be awful. What's one piece of advice or sorry, I messed that up. What is one piece of advice to someone wanting to make a difference in our community?
Okay, well, there's a few things that come to mind. And it depends on, what kind of difference they're wanting to make. If you work at a business, specifically housing and employment, if you employ people, or you work at a place that does employ people, or you have a rental company or anything of that nature, look at your policies. What do they say about it being an inclusive place for people that have felony convictions? We need housing to make things better. A lot of times it is extremely helpful if it is our independent, our own housing, where if we upset somebody, they can't kick us out. And earning a livable wage. Things are expensive today.
Oh yeah.
Just and offering the opportunity, there are a lot, hold on, let me think how to say this. Our peers can get bonded to where if something happens, and things go south, and, you as a company lose money, that the government will pay you. They're insured. I'll have to look it up. I can't recall what it is off the top of my head right now. And then the housing, like, we need more inclusive places for our peers, for, people with felonies on their record. We are not our past. Some of the best people, I'm thinking about it, some of the best people I know have been convicted of felonies. They might have got it wiped off their record, some of them. So the next person may not know it, but I do. I don't know. We get better. And it takes a community to heal a community. It takes a community. We are stronger together. We can help people at an accelerated rate if we work together. If things weren't so challenging. I don't know if that answers your question.
When you hit roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, you end up in the same situation you were.
You can, absolutely. Without the right supports, people can return to use, or without the right supports, a lot of times I've seen it, people return to use, or they just get so frustrated, because we're only here 8:30 to 5, and we've got other things to do, and their window, their appointment ranges 30 minutes to an hour, and of course if they need transportation or something like that outside of where the bus runs, it can look a little longer than that, but it's just, eventually I've seen it, they get fed up and then they don't come around for a while, and they can end up incarcerated, or they can end up without the opportunity to recover again because they've experienced a fatal overdose. I've seen it happen.
Yeah. Okay. What is your go-to source for inspiration and encouragement?
Other people in recovery.
Okay. And who has been your inspiration? Well, I'll put that as when you started here.
Mm-hmm.
So who has been your biggest inspiration through all this?
It changes. Let me get some water. It changes depending. My biggest inspirations have changed throughout this journey. At the beginning, it was this lady named Diane, who was the sweetest woman at the recovery residence that I was at. When I moved here, I used to think Claudia was the coolest person on the planet, which you still are cool. But it was so different because I didn't know her, you know?
Yeah.
I was just like, wow. I'm like, wow, come on, friend, you know? So it's a little different now. And then it's always somebody else in recovery that's doing really, really great things. There's some other organizations that do similar work to us. There are other RCOs depending on the community you're in. I think there's like 40 something now across the state. And so just seeing other organizations, what they're doing over there, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. And like just cheering them on. Georgia Council for Recovery, they have some really great people that work for them. It's always somebody in recovery, and I'm like, that's amazing. And it's watching them like meet these super amazing goals. It's watching them meet these huge goals. I'm like, oh, well, I can do it too. Actually, okay, so I'm a homeowner. I am a homeowner, and I was leading a group for one of our drug court support groups. And there was this guy that was in the group, and he had about, I think, a year or so in recovery. And he shared that he had just bought a house. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And I had been thinking about it too, and I had about 3.5 years, three and a half years, something at this point. Maybe 2, I don't know. It was a while ago. But he did it, and he shared that he did it, and I was like, I've been working on this, like, I should just try. And I bought my house. And he, as a peer in a group that I was leading, that was, you know, earlier in his journey, that inspired me. So it's just watching, you know, different people in recovery meet these goals and knowing that, oh, I can do it too.
All right, is there anything else you would want to add?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered everything. We're always like, because you asked about donations earlier, like yes, the financial aspect is important. We can always use in-kind donations. Those are listed on our website. And then volunteers as well.
Okay, so
Volunteers are important.
how does someone go about volunteering?
So they can send me an email if you want to link my email. Okay. It's Brittany@livingforrecovery.org, BRITTNEY. And just say they're interested. I'll send them an application. They'll come in, we'll sit down, we'll have a conversation that'll probably involve Erin now since she's over that. And just seeing where they feel like they could be purposeful working with our organization. We want the volunteer work to fulfill something within the individual that is volunteering, if that makes sense.
Okay.
There's all kind of ways to help in just operating out of kindness and respect, and I've said that a bunch of times, but it's important.
And help change mindsets in the community. Realize that when someone gets out of jail, their struggles are just beginning. Like, it's eye-opening. And I wish I could show like all the videos that we watched.
Yeah.
Because they were amazing. It was part of the Rome International Film Festival, and just people telling all the struggles they went through that you don't realize. You think, oh, they're out of jail. Healthcare, yes. And it's just amazing how little help there is. Like, I don't know if amazing is a good word, but it's just mind-blowing how little help there is. So.
Yeah, and how much judgment there still is. I know that you caught the incarceration aspect of it at the film festival, but even our unsheltered community members, I don't know anyone personally. It's like, you know what, I wanna wake up today and I don't wanna have a place to lay my head. Just, they matter too. It's not just substance use or mental health related as far as how someone becomes unsheltered or unhoused, or um, it can be a traumatic life event, and just treating people the way that you would want to be treated, or you would want your mom treated, or your brother or your cousin or your child or whoever, just being kind. And it's hard for them too. That's my point.
Yeah.
It's hard for them too. It's hard for the people that, you know, maybe living with somebody and they get everything stolen from them, and they're like, I'm tired of this. I want to get better. The same. Well, it's a little different because maybe they don't have a criminal history at that point. But I don't know. It's just, it can be really challenging. But we're here to support in whatever way we can, and we need the community's continued and growing support for our peers in our recovery community.
All right. If you have any questions, be sure to contact Brittany. Brittany at livingproofrecovery.org. And thank you for listening. Bye, guys.
Bye.